Hey everybody, I'm Josh.
I'm Jordan at PDQ.com. I'll be honest, you said Josh instead of Lex and it threw me off. I'm like, no, that's the wrong name.
You did it wrong. We need to try this again.
The script.
So we're talking about uninstalling applications. There's a lot that goes into that. I'm sorry, I slammed my glass down that loud. That came through. I mean, there's a lot of things with uninstalls that we just kind of get through the gotcha so we can get the most uninstalled as soon as possible.
Sounds good to me.
Bare metal, or not bare, minimum software.
Minimum software.
Minimum software.
The least amount possible.
All right, so the first part when it comes to uninstalling is the uninstall types.
Okay.
You usually, there can be others, but it's mostly MSI or EXE.
Sure.
MSI, the parameters aren't going to change. It's always /QN, and then you could do a /no restart if you want to add that as well.
Sure.
That is static. That's not going to change. It's always going to be the same.
Okay.
With EXEs, or as I put here, not MSI is not known. So
You're going to confuse me with the double negative logic throughout this, but it's okay.
and so with that,
it's just variables to have.
Yeah. There's some uniform standards like /S, which lowercase or uppercase, and it can be case sensitive, or there's very silent or just silent. There's a lot of options, and unfortunately, if it's an MSI, you have to go and find what that's going to be.
Yep, you sure do. So just to recap, what I'm hearing is MSI, slam dunk. We know that if it's an .exe that was installed, then we might have to do some digging, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I did not have that window pre-resized.
All
Sorry,
right.
JJ.
But luckily, we have inventory to help do some of the research and digging for us, right?
Yep, so if we come into inventory, just right-click on the application, say uninstall. We're doing 7-zip, which I believe in this case is exe. 7-zip's a weird case. It has an exe and an MSI, I believe, depending on which one you've installed. So checking for both is that one. But in this case, on Bugs Bunny is the exe one. You can see here, we put all the uninstall string, but we can't put the silent parameters because we don't know that off the top of our head.
Okay. So just like in Deploy, when you go to install software for an MSI, we know what that is. We can help you out there. But if it's an exe, you got to go find those silent parameters.
Yep. So we'll open up Chrome here. That one is an MSI, and it's got the QN registry. And this right here, the /X means uninstall.
Okay.
This GUID is specific to this version of Chrome.
Okay. So what you're saying is if I've got a bunch of different versions of Chrome in my environment, that GUID is going to be different.
Yeah, so you could run this against, like if you created a collection of Google Chrome on a very specific version, you could run this against that version and it would uninstall all of it. But if you look for all machines, it's only going to uninstall this version on that one.
Okay, so that's kind of a gotcha with some MSI. So they're easier, but there's still some thinking involved.
Yeah, so if you're looking to remove everything, there's two options. This one's probably not my favorite. You could upgrade everything to the latest version, and then it's going to be one GUID to uninstall. That can work if you've got the bandwidth for it. Sure. You're removing it anyway, it just does the uninstall first.
Okay.
The other option is you can come up with the GUID for each one, and there's a couple ways you can do that.
Okay.
But first, I guess with the exe with 7-zip, I mean, if you don't have the information, the exe, you have to Google it.
What? I have to use the Google machine?
Yeah, unfortunately, and if you're trying to silently uninstall software, someone on the internet has done it, and it's out there. Or in this case, I just came to the FAQ of 7-zip.
So for this, it's the install.
Yeah. So
right, but in many cases, the install silent parameters are also the uninstall silent parameters.
Yeah. So,
sometimes.
Yeah. So the software's going to be motivated to tell you how to install it silently, but remove it. Why would they help you with that? I mean, some will. They'll throw it out there, but not everyone will.
Okay.
In this case, it's a /S is the install, and that actually works with uninstall as well. I've tested that one. So if you can't find it, you can look through the documentation for the install, and not 100% of the time, but usually the silent parameter is going to be the same on that one.
Nice.
All right, so now they have that one. There's one other area you can look, and we're actually going to go into PowerShell for this one.
Ooh, I like PowerShell for this.
Me too.
So I guess if we go back to Chrome, and I've got a lot of different versions of the same software, something I might do is create a collection that lists out all the individual versions that could be there, find the GUID for each, and then use those collections as a condition in a package, right? So it's like, if you're this version, run this uninstall string. If you're this version, run this one.
Yeah, so you absolutely can.
Okay.
You can build one package that has the uninstall for all of the GUIDs, and then you can specify the version that you're looking for. And that will just run the one package against your entire environment, and it would remove it all.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
And then I used VS Code on my PowerShell just so you can show they actually have a registry key here. where they included the quiet uninstall string in there as its own key. Not all software has this, but it's becoming more frequent.
And this putting this registry key in there is up to the developer. It's not a standard.
Yeah, there's nothing that we can do on that one. If the developer puts it in there, it's great. So if you're doing this one, as you can see, this one is the uninstall 00exe, and it has the / line. So if you're pulling up from the registry, you can look for if quiet uninstall string exists, and if so, you can just run that line, and it will work.
Okay.
Otherwise,
where are you pulling this from? Like which registry hive?
So if we come here, there's actually 3 registry hives. So there's local machine, that's just Windows current version uninstall.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's I believe the 32-bit. And then the 64-bit is the software, the 6432. I might have that mixed up. One of them's 32, one of them's 64.
You confused me. You mixed me up now too. I don't remember.
Yeah. And then this last one here, and the reason I have this commented out, this one is current user. If you are going to use this in a deployment package, you're going to go find software to uninstall. The current user will only work if you run that as the logged on user. Someone has to be logged on, otherwise it's not going to pull up that kernel. I just have it commented out, it's just there.
And so the specific thing is that it's not any user installed. HKey current user is literally the current user on the system. Mm-hmm. So if like you've got a per user application installed for Bob, but Jane's logged in, and you run this, you're not going to see it.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different methods for that one. First, I just want to go through this PowerShell, then we'll hit the
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of you.
So basically, what we're doing is basically we're querying registry, because almost all software has the registry uninstall in there. We had a version out there, it's like you could specify one software and it would go in there, where this one I want to be able to, first of all, what if you had multiple versions of VS Code? I'm not sure if that's possible, just an example. Just multiple version of the software out there. When you run this query, it's going to pull back 2 registry keys. Okay. So what I did is I made it where you could add multiples. You could just put wildcards, and it will go through and it will search for any software that has that, and it will pull out the information. And then it just builds an array out of that with the silent parameters. This is ordered. So if you know the silent parameter to uninstall 7-zip, you'd want to put that here. That one is case sensitive, capital S. Put that there in the second one to match up with 7-zip. Otherwise, it's going to pull the wrong silent parameters and fail. If it is MSI, it's automatically just going to add the...
This script is in bonus content, right?
I believe so. I'll have to double check.
Okay, so it's their positional parameters. So if you like up above where you had code and then 7-zip, you just match it up all the way down.
Yep. Yeah, we can't put this one really in the repo just because the software, like if you just put ***, it's going to uninstall, it's going to silently uninstall everything that's an MSI, and it's going to attempt to uninstall everything that's not an MSI.
Oh, so there should be maybe a warning at the top of this one? Like, hey.
Just run it.
All right, yeah, just run it. Some script on the internet, let's just run it. I like it.
Yeah, so if you don't specify an application, you just have just an asterisk in there, it's going to remove everything it can. And for the MSIs, it will remove 100% of those.
Gotcha.
So you definitely want to specify that. And then from the array, it's going to go through, it finds all of it. And if it has the uninstall string, it'll go through the uninstall. If not, it'll let you know that this software is probably malware. Because if they're hiding the uninstall string to that level, there's just something.
Even if it's not malware.
Yeah, it's malware. So it builds the uninstall string, adds silent parameters, runs the uninstall, and then we just do a get WMI object to check for it. And then if it finds the software, it'll let you know that it failed to uninstall it. If not, it uninstalls. And then it does the same thing for MSI. And this is weird. The uninstall string for MSI in the registry, about 80% of the time, they don't change it to /x. They keep the I, the install. So I have in here the replace where it swaps the I for the X.
Okay, so they've just put the install string and the uninstall string. So this is a quick find and replace for the right parameter.
Yeah, so if it is already X, it won't do anything. If it's not, it will make the swap, and then it will go through and do the same thing. So this software, if you know exactly what you're looking to remove, like if it's anything, and I can't, and I'm reading ahead, I'm cheating on the questions we had come in early. Someone's asking for how do I get rid of DELL?
Okay.
I'm going to assume, because DELL loves their name, in their application they have DELL somewhere in here.
So this script can do it. So I see that you've got the other variables for publisher or version, but you can just like give it a wildcard DELL.
Well, yes, I have DELL bracketed by asterisk. I assume they're going to put their name in there. That's probably going to find all of that software and give you the option to uninstall it. We don't have any DELL computers, so I can't test that one, but that's just my theory.
Sure.
They probably put DELL in the title. That will find everything that has DELL in the name.
So name, but also I see you've got an asterisk in version,
Yeah,
So it's version independent as well.
Yeah, so if you wanted to get, we'll just go back to 7-zip, but everything that was 19.0.0, you can come in there and then on the query, it will skip everything but 19.0.0. So you can set this to only get specific versions of the software, but all.
Or all.
Yeah, so you can get all versions but a single one if you want to remove it. You can just get pretty granular. It's just a way where software can have a whole bunch of different versions and everything. A lot of times in the package library, we have pre-built uninstall packages. Those work great. With 7-zip, we actually have, it goes through and it tries the 32-bit, the 64-bit exe, and the MSI, and it runs all three of them. And it uninstalls basically everything.
Okay, this is like the universal uninstall script.
Yes.
Is what this is sounding like to me.
This one is, as long as you have basic information, you can kind of hunt it down and uninstall what you need to install.
Nice.
All right, the next part we're talking about is the per user, because we can load the current user, but not every user, and that causes all kinds of problems.
Only if you're running as a logged on user though, right?
Yeah, someone has to actually be logged on. You have to build the package as logged on user, and it will run in their context and remove per user.
So in deploy, if you want to look for per user stuff, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be hit or miss. So if you run as a logged on user.
We have one, and this was written by Chris Powell.
Okay.
And what he does, he goes in there and he loads every single registry hive, every single user registry hive. He loads it up, finds the uninstall, removes all access. Like, it's a very thorough script, and then it unloads the hive.
Okay.
It's very effective.
Before we dive into this, should we see if there's any questions that we want to take, maybe about like machine side installs before we dive into like this user side uninstall?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we do have a question. We have several, but let's just make our way down the list. Check all computers in the domain and uninstall Microsoft 365 only if x94 version, option only if x94. Computers run win blah blah numbers and Windows and more numbers. Sincerely, Domagadojo. Joe.
All right. They made it very difficult to remove Office 365. All the normal silent parameters, like if you install the Office 365, there actually is a registry entry in there for the Pro one, and it has an uninstall string, but there is no silent option, and I can't find a silent option for the click to run.
Oh, so if you have that click to run and you run that from deploy, all it's going to do is throw a prompt as the deploy user. So even the end user might not even see that.
Yeah, so they don't have a silent option for that one, but they provided this deployment tool, Office deployment tool, that you can use to uninstall. So basically what you have to do, and if we go to inventory, I've done prep work.
Ooh, that's the best kind of work.
We have Office 365. We have 3 machines. I'm not going to touch Auditorium.
Please don't.
I imagine that makes many enemies, but Coolcat and Egghead both have some version of Office 365.
Okay.
So what you have to do is they have a deployment tool that's a free download, and when you download it, it comes with like 4 XMLs on how to install everything. But if you want to uninstall, you have to custom design it based on your specific needs.
Really?
So that question that they had in there, he wanted like 64-bit specific and different versions and everything. And I think I tested this. It actually left Visio behind. Visio's its own.
It's an add-on, because that's also an add-on for the when you install Office. So inventory can help narrow down kind of the OS and the architecture of the machine, and then you're going to have to build that logic into the XML for uninstalling Microsoft 365.
Yep. So here I have the basic uninstall XML, and this will just remove the Pro Plus Retail, which is the basic one that installs if you use the setup to install it. If they have the home one, it's a slightly different name. Unfortunately, we can't give you the all solutions, but we can give you this XML will do it. You just have to look. They do have a flag for architecture if you only want to get 86 or 64. They do have a flag for Pro or Retail. Everything's in there. It's going to take a bit of reading to build. And this one we'll show here. We have the except EULA equals true. That's what makes it go silent.
Okay.
And then we're going to uninstall the Pro one.
I do notice that you've got a force app shutdown value is true.
So I have that. It did not work for me. I had it actually up and running. And I got an error 17,002, which from reading through that one, that usually means that it couldn't close the application. So I had to reboot the machine and then uninstall it. But actually, we're gonna try this one live.
That's the best. Okay, so if you ran into an error where it couldn't close it, you could do a reboot first. You could do like a task kill or a stop process, and it's like a pre-step.
Yeah, I think reboot's probably your best bet for the task kill because there's so many options with Office 365. Trying to have a task kill for all of them seems.
Yeah.
Actually, just basically let them know, hey, your machine's restarting tonight, and then go through and just reboot it and then do the uninstall.
Gotcha.
The most important part is naming it. I learned that.
Nice.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to include the setup file. This is the Office deployment tool.
So this is the click to run. So this is very similar to the install process because you're pointing to the same setup.exe.
Yep, and I'm just including the setup.exe and the XML in the script, and then it's just, we're going to call that one, that did not type. There we go. And then just setup.exe.
Nice.
And then I believe it's just config. So the XML has to say configuration specifically, but you're calling it with /config. That's just something I ran into. Like
the more you know.
They did not make it easy at all. Oh, I forgot the dot setup to say we were looking for.
Same directory.
Same directory.
So yeah, so when you include the files, like you've done down here in the bottom, they put them in the same directory as the script's executing from.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what was it? Uninstall.xml. Did I spell it right?
I think so.
I'm gonna.
Well, you spelled it right here. I don't know if you spelled your actual XML right.
Let's find out here. Uninstall. All right, that's the same. All right, so we're just gonna run this against CoolCat. In my test runs, this takes about 3 minutes.
Okay.
So I get that started, and then maybe move the next part or take another question.
Yeah, why not? We'll come back and see if it worked.
Do you want another question?
Let's bring up a question.
why not?
All right, we'll give you another question then. Hey guys, how to uninstall selected pre-installed DELL programs and Office 365, 5 items in 5 languages, on 100 new DELL notebooks. Sincerely, once again, Domajogogo.
All right, so for the Office 365 part where the languages, I imagine you can probably specify language.
I think so.
Within the XML, but it's going to require research. So if you know what if the 5 languages are uniform, just select the 4 you don't want, or if you want to get rid of all of them, and include it into the XML. I just don't have the exact ones.
Yeah, we don't have any DELL thing here.
For the DELL, the best thing I could think of is checking the registry. If you do *DELL*, it should, if they put that in the name, or maybe if DELL is the publisher. You have to go. You have to go find one.
So back in your other script, where you were calling out, is it remove everything? Is that the name of the script? I think we've got.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but the top, I think we had a publisher, so you could do publisher *DELL.
Yeah,
app name *DELL, and see if we can find any and everything DELL.
Yeah. So if you have one of your computers with DELL, you can go through and you can find the right combination of app name publisher with this one. Run that; it will find them all on every machine and remove everything. It's just you're going to want to make sure you find your silent parameters and. Hopefully they're MSIs, that makes it easier. If they're EXEs, you're going to have to look that up. And then just make sure it's some version of the publisher and app name, you should be able to track that down. It should be in the registry. It's just going to require a little bit. I know a lot of these are saying, this gets you started, it's just going to require some work, but we don't have
That's kind of the nature of the beast, though, with executables, is it's so much up to the application developer. The answer is always, it depends.
All right. Well,
hey, we had a successful deployment, so I'm up for that.
Yeah, but in 31 seconds isn't a good sign.
So that just means, so since we have a successful deployment here, maybe we can talk about that for a second. Because it was a PowerShell step, we get it successful just because the script executed. That doesn't necessarily mean it did what it was supposed to do. It just means the script ran.
Yeah, the script didn't throw up an error, basically. So we're just going to do a quick scan to see if CoolCat disappears. Okay. And then we'll see if I've got my XML correct on this one.
Yeah. Well, all right then.
All right, well, that's running. Hopefully that comes through pretty quick. So, I mean, at 31 seconds, I can almost guarantee it didn't run that time just because it took 3 minutes the first time I ran that.
Maybe CoolCat's just a really fast computer. It's kind of cool.
Maybe.
Fast.
I'm actually going to just deploy it one more time with changing nothing and just assume that's going to work.
You know the definition of insanity, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that makes sense for me. I'm mostly insane.
I'll take it. I guess while it's running
Is that a
again,
definition or an example?
both. Both.
All right, well, that's running. We'll take a look there. Yeah, finish scanning. So that one definitely didn't uninstall. So it means I probably have something wrong with the XML. And unfortunately, like this one did work for me earlier. It didn't this time. So it's going to require research. So you have to use their tool if you're going to do it silently. And just if you have something specific, just read up on all the different items. You have to build the exact one you're looking for.
I'm just going to guess at this one probably. Just if IT installed this one here, I don't know if we would have had Office 365 Retail. It probably would have been a different edition on CoolCat.
It could have been that.
So it could have been that. So it's going to take some diving for all the different flavors of Office.
Yeah, if for some reason it's uniform, like push it, or it's coming installed with everything, you can find anything uniform, that's fine. If not, it's going to require some digging. They really did not make it easy to remove their products.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, 26 seconds. Yeah, that's definitely not uninstalling.
Well, I guess, so that's probably the per machine installs we've gone through. And then we started to dive into some of those user-side installs.
You said, yeah, and we're looking at the...
So user-side installs. Jordan, how could I maybe get a machine in a state where it has a user-side install?
So a lot of times with Firefox is the one that happens the most. A user goes, I want Firefox. They go to install it, and Firefox says, hey, we see you don't have admin rights. We're just going to put it in your user profile for you.
Oh. So it installs to maybe like C users app data roaming.
Roaming, yeah.
Instead of like program files.
Yeah, so it sees they don't have permission to this one, so it puts it where they do have permission. But then if you later go and install Firefox as it's meant to be, you're going to have duplicate versions. It's very...
So this is a way that if you've gotten to this situation, you've come in, you've got a bunch of users that have said, I want Firefox. They don't have admin rights. They've installed it. But you want to come in as the admin and say, no, we're going to have this version of the machine-wide install. This might be a way that we could get those per user installs out of the way.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
All right, and so we're going to go over a couple of methods. The first one is this PowerShell script, which I got to be honest, it took me a lot of reading to understand a lot of the components in this one.
This one, this script for me is still black magic.
Can open it in IC, I guess. Stop messing with it. Where is my...
Open with, down there at the bottom. That'll work. Yep.
It's not gonna. We're not running it anyway, so I don't need to be an administrator. I just want to pull it up there. So yeah, What this one is doing, it is loading every single user hive, whether it's active or not. And that's what this pattern SID is. That's how it finds the user. It's loading that up. It's doing the search for anything Firefox related. And then he takes it to the next step where he looks for links that might be left behind and just a whole bunch of icons. Like, this is very thorough.
So this script as an admin is going through and searching HKey current user for every user.
Not current users. It's just HKey user. It's
HKey user.
User. It's loading it as if it was current user. Executing removal of everything and then unloading the hive. So it works, but every time I think about running this, I get nervous just because anything wrong with the registry, you could blow out an entire profile. You could cause all kinds of problems. We have this in our library. It's been tested. It works fantastic. Sure. But if you're looking to go outside of Firefox with this, just know all the stuff, like all the traces he has here. You're either going to have to remove that and leave the traces, or you're going to have to change it to meet the needs of whatever software you're doing. But basically, the key part of this one is loading the hives. This is where he loads every single hive. You keep that part. You have to do the rest of it, make a lot of changes. Just be very sure.
That's also the dangerous part, right? And dangerous in a way that, if you run the risk of corrupting a user profile.
Yep.
And so in that case, a user would come to log into that machine the next time. They'd get a temp profile. They might be missing, my documents folder is gone, or I can't see my stuff.
Yeah, it's in there. It just loads them as josh.temp instead and loses everything. There's a lot of risk with this one. This one, it works fantastic. I love it. I read it, and the PowerShell is beautiful. I love it. I'm nervous running it.
I think so. Yeah, this is one of those that it works really well and it does its job. It's just be aware of what's happening under the hood.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're going to run it as is, it's going to get rid of Firefox. If you're going to use it for your own, just be very sure what you've changed.
Nice.
And the other one, this is something you wrote, and you built this specifically, this one for Spotify?
This one was for Spotify. So this is nowhere nearly as elegant as yours and or Chris's.
Because
this is my level of PowerShell. So a fun thing about Spotify, the per user install, is it does install to each user's app data roaming directory. And if you call the uninstall from that directory, it will uninstall as that user. So in the PowerShell I have here, all I'm doing is I'm running through all the user directories on the machine, seeing if Spotify.exe exists. And if it does, I'm just calling that executable with the argument list of uninstall.
All right, and you said this one there, that uninstall, that does silent by default?
That was silent by default when I ran this.
And that was... So,
but I don't remember the version.
It's not always going to be. So
No.
if it's something that wasn't Spotify, you would want to include in the argument list the silent parameter.
Correct. And, Spotify might be unique in the fact that if you just call it from that user directory, it uninstalls as that user. These per user installs can go a bunch of different ways. So this is just kind of a starting point.
Yeah, this is a test case. You can run with it. So the most important part is by having the asterisk between users, it's going to go through every single roaming profile where it's installing. This will get your Firefox. It's going to look for the executable in there and it's running the uninstall. So in the case of Firefox, instead you'd be looking for, I don't know if it's Firefox.exe or if there's something specific. If it has an uninstall one you're looking for,
Yep.
you're looking for that file and then you start that process.
Exactly.
All right, so this is just kind of an idea of how you can do per user without having to load the hives. It's just going to require some massaging.
Yeah, maybe some applications will work in this manner, others won't. It's one of those, you get to try, see what works.
All right. Do we have any other questions?
Oh, do we
Just
ever?
like 20 or so.
Oh, okay.
We may want to just kind of jump into a speed round. I don't know. Your
Let's
call.
do it.
All right.
Speed, quote unquote.
Yeah, in air quotes. Hey guys, I'm a huge fan of PDQ. Your products are truly amazing. In PDQ Inventory in a PC, I see the list of applications and I can see the uninstall string / msiexec command in many cases, and that works great. I found recently that if I run this command, wmic blah blah nerd, I see apparently more than what I see in PDQ Inventory. I see more apps and more uninstall strings. Do you know why that is? I may just be missing something. Thanks, the incredible edible Dr. Thunder.
Well, there's a couple things that you can do here. So WMIC product, you're not only going to see like third-party apps, you're also going to see Windows apps as well. So even things like the old school calculator are going to show up in that list. So we're not going to show by default in applications in PDQ inventory. Since we're talking about WMIC and product and in the context of uninstalls, something that I want to throw it as a word of caution, when you call like WMIC product uninstall, it's kind of like walking through a minefield, is how this was explained to me. That there's really no rules for application developers there. So you could run into a WMIC product uninstall and trigger like a rebuild of the WMI index. So it looks like all apps on the computer were installed at the same date, and it's the date and time that you ran that command. Something else that you could step on a mine and break is you could trigger what looks like to Windows is WMI corruption. And then in that case, it's going to go and try and repair WMI. So careful if, WMI is great for returning data, but applications in WMI and calling install, uninstall from that context can be dicey. So just a word of caution there.
All right. I think that's I have nothing to add. I'm used to that.
All right, next question. How to uninstall multiple versions of applications with PDQ. Sincerely, Lucas C.
That's what this script here would do. That's just basically if you run a PowerShell script, say, and I want to get rid of, we'll say Spotify again.
Why not? Let's pick on Spotify today.
It's just Spotify. You specify Spotify's application, look through all the registry keys. It's going to find, no matter what the version is, it's going to find that one, and it's going to find the uninstall string. So in that case, if you're looking to just remove all versions of everything and there's no default uninstaller saying you can run that, then you just want to run it specifically against that machine where you're looking in the registry, and it will find that for you for that version.
Nice. I really like this script. It is a universal remove everything. I love it.
So this one is for where do multiples. If you're looking for just single application, there's a knowledge base written by Renzo that's fantastic. It's basically I just built off of his. That would just
Those
run
are the best kinds of scripts.
Yeah, it just that one will do a single application. It runs really well.
Nice.
Why would you ever uninstall Spotify?
I hate music. I'm John Lithgow.
I don't understand the reference, but I think it's a good one.
I like John Lithgow. All right.
All right, next question. How to disable or remove a local admin account, named same, on multiple computers running Windows 10, x64, x86, Windows 7, x64, deep breath, Domaggio, go.
Ooh.
All right, so there's actually a built-in PowerShell command for this. If you look into just disable it completely, disable user or local user, and then you said the name was the same, which makes it super. Let's just say this one's named Steve. And so basically build this as a PowerShell step in a package, run that against every machine, and the local user Steve will be disabled on all of them.
Well, that's a slam dunk.
Yeah, if you're looking to just change the password, you can do, I believe, set user account, name Steve, and then there are a few, which apparently I lost them. But there's a attribute for that one. It kind of expires. Yeah, password. That one you can set a password there. That's going to send it in clear text. If you have, and we've done a lot on PowerShell credentials, you can secure the password. Just basically include the key file and the password itself when it's encrypted. Mm-hmm. You can unencrypt it on their side, set the password as that. And
so everything being sent is encrypted, and it just happens.
Yeah,
Nice.
and this one, but that you can change the password. You can disable. It's a one-line PowerShell. Just deploy that with a PowerShell step. You should be good.
Nice. It's an easy one.
About the last question, they're asking where they can find that script.
It should be on bonus content. If not, I will put it up on bonus content right after this.
Yeah, and we'll also link
It's not.
to...
It's not.
Yeah, so the link to bonus content also we're going to put in the YouTube description after the webcast, so you can find it later.
Yeah, I apologize. And I will add a comment about, hey, don't run this with just asterisk.
You were telling me that you actually did that.
I ran that on my machine because
Yep.
I wanted to get rid of everything I thought, and I was wrong. I was very, very wrong.
So yeah, description in the video
Yeah,
afterwards.
so
you'll find it.
I'm sorry I don't have that now that I dropped the ball getting that before, but as soon as this is done, I will make it a priority to throw it up as soon as possible.
Nice.
All right.
And you said throw up, by the way. Hey, guys, best way to kill an application before uninstall. Sincerely, Jack Black.
Jack
Apparently,
the Ripper.
who's a big fan of the show.
Trying to kill applications.
There you are.
Oh, I just ran that. Well, apparently 7-zip is going to be a conflict.
Well, 7-zip and anything Dell's gone. All right. That's fine. This is fine.
So I was actually looking to get to my scratch paper again, but I lost it. So we'll pull that back
Don't
up.
drink and deploy, folks.
Actually, that destroys our credibility for every webcast ever.
Yeah, you're right.
Luckily, none of it was asterisk on that one. So 7-zip 19.0, if it is installed on this machine, it is not now.
No longer. All right. So killing a process before, or killing an application before. This is a pretty easy one as well with a stop process.
Yep. So if you have your uninstall, you can have a step before that where it's just stop process. In this case, I did Notepad, but whatever the name of that process is, you have to look that up first or find it, and then just run that one. And if you want to get more complex, you could do like if process is running, then do the kill.
You could do a find with some wildcards and then if found,
but
pipe to stop process.
Yeah, overall to kill it, stop process, that should stop the application from running.
Nice. You can even throw a dash force on there if you were feeling like it.
You know what? I am.
If you're feeling spicy.
Yeah.
Look at that. Improved by Josh. We'll put that.
Nice.
All right, next question.
Hey guys, best way to remove all apps off an annoying employee PC, Dave Grohl. So is it the PC or the employee that's annoying? I don't know.
I think you could do what Jordan actually just did and ran that script.
With just the asterisk, but that's only going to get, so it's going to uninstall other MSIs, but for every executable it finds, it's going to not be silent, so it'll just pop up, hey, we're trying to uninstall this.
Yeah.
Which would probably be just as aggravating. All their MSIs will disappear, all their executables will pop up and say, hey, we're trying to remove, which
That's fantastic.
I wouldn't like that at all.
Neither would I.
That's why it's so good. Hey guys, is there any way to deploy Windows printer driver INFs with PDQ Deploy without installing the network printer? Sincerely, blah, 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 blah.
Short answer, yes. Longer answer, I don't remember how to do it. I think Lex and I actually did a webcast on this. And there's a way to use a PnP util, and you could just get the driver. I just don't remember exactly how to do it.
I have a blog on there doing it with PowerShell, where that one I go through all the steps where you're getting the INF and everything, and I do end up doing the install, but if you just cut out the last step. So we have a video where we've done it with the PDQ util, and we have a blog where we're doing it with PowerShell, where you can get the INF file and send that one. For the PowerShell one, if it is not a signed file driver, it will absolutely error out, so you want to make sure it's a signed version.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Where can they find that video? Do you remember what webcast it was?
I don't. I will go dig for it, and I'll send it so we can
You're
get it up.
supposed to say throw.
So I can throw it up?
Throw it up, yeah.
Okay.
So we
Is
can
that
barf it
that
up
where
to
we're
the
going?
viewer. Okay.
All right.
Well, y'all have been drinking a bit, so throw up. Yeah. Next question, dear Josh and Jordan. When uninstalling programs, sometimes a reg key still shows a program is installed. Is there any way you can enable PDQ Inventory to show us where you are pulling the key from so we can manually remove it? Sincerely, Frankie B.
That's a sneaky feature request. I like it. So actually, Jordan's script is showing the same places that PDQ Inventory.
But that's looking only at the uninstall. I think his is the actual software information in there.
We do Inventory does look at the uninstall strings as well.
Yeah.
So it's not only the uninstall hive or the uninstall location, but also the install location. So those three there that are in your path variable.
Yep. So we're specifying the path here. So if you're not looking for just the uninstall, you can cut this back to where you think it might be with asterisk, and then it's the same thing with the get child item and then with the get item property.
Yeah.
And just you're basically looking for the keyword of that application, and that should be able to pull you the string. And then just instead of grabbing just the uninstall string, it would be, I have the selection here, the PS path or the parent path. There's the install location. It should be somewhere in there where you can find the registry and remove it that way.
Nice. Makes sense.
All right, you guys are doing all right on the speed round. So let's
Hey,
keep let's keep going. Hey guys, any recommendations for uninstalling an application where the source file is required to run the uninstall string, but that source was lost to time or simply bad practices? Sincerely, the fabulous Kathleen F.
I actually ran into this the other day. Kathleen, there is, I can't believe I'm going to say this, and it works. There is a Microsoft iFixit utility that actually works.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was surprised. It was a last-ditch effort, and it worked. I don't even remember what I was Googling to find it. I will go find it, and I'll make sure that gets up in the bonus content as well. But it worked really well.
And this one is more for the future case. There's a checkbox where you can do where basically installation requires source that will keep the source file over there. So in the future, if you know you need the source file, you can check that box. It will keep the source file over there for you.
Yeah, keep it on the target machine.
Keep it on the target machine. That's the setting you can do for that one. But that's only useful
That's before
when you want to remove it after you install it again.
Yeah.
For this one, try to fix it, but otherwise you're going to have to find that source file. I can't think of a way to remove it without it.
Yeah, I don't know what the magic Microsoft utility is doing, but it
Remember
worked.
Dr. Watson? That old Fix-It utility?
Sure do.
Is that what Fix-It is based on?
I think so, and I think there's some Clippy source code sprinkled in there somewhere just for
I was
fun.
going to say, it's reminding me of Clippy.
All the more shocking that it worked.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, guys, any advice on removing appx packages? For instance, Microsoft VP9 video extensions? It seems to be installed on an account that is not logged in lately, and I can't seem to touch it. Sincerely, Jason E.
Boy, have I got the PowerShell for you.
Yeah, you do.
If I can find it. I have too many tabs open. Here we go, appx removable. So this is one I've done a webcast on this. This one I know is on bonus content. But as long as the Windows is 1709 or later, the remove all users does work, or remove from all users does work.
And so that's a parameter of remove appx package.
Yeah, so
Right.
before when you ran the get appx package, there was an all users flag for the get. The remove was single instance. So it would grab for everyone and would still try to remove from that one instance.
Neat.
1709, they fixed that. It's not always intuitive. It doesn't work just out of the box. You have to do a little bit of change. We'll just cover that real quick. So
Okay.
in this one, this was basically I said I want to keep these appx, everything else can go.
Yeah.
And then,
So in the context of this specific question, you're building a whitelist where this person wants to remove a single app.
yeah, so
They could change the logic up a smidge.
yeah, so in this one where I'm doing the whitelist, you could just do get appx package with that name, specify all users, and then at that point you want to come in here and you want to do see the package type filter bundle, and then pipe that to remove appx package all users, and that allows all users to run on that one.
So for this, in this instance, it could be get appx package name, and instead of the variable you've got there, the V something, the codecs.
Video codecs.
Yeah.
Whatever the viz codecs apparently. Whatever the name of that one is, you put that one in there, it will find it. You specify a package type filter, you will probably want to throw in all users on this part as well.
Okay.
And then pipe that in to remove appx package with the flag all users, and that should get rid of it from that user if it's logged in or not.
Nice.
All right, guys, we have 6 questions remaining. That's right, count them. 6. That's
Start taking notes.
one hand and one finger. Guys, I have an issue uninstalling WebRoot remotely as the command line requires CAPTCHA response. Any way to get around this? Would the PowerShell script work? Sincerely, JJ71.
That's horrific.
So I have done this, something similar to this with when I was doing version upgrade testing for our product before I moved. And basically what you have to do is you have to run this as logged on user interactive. And then once you start the uninstall process, it gets to a certain point and you want to put a try catch. So it will basically keep on trying and you can move on to the next part. And you want to search for that window type. And then the problem is the CAPTCHA logic is difficult. So if it's the same thing, like check this box and move forward, you can. But if the CAPTCHA logic changes, there's nothing we can do for that. The whole purpose of that is to avoid remote uninstall.
Wow, that's painful.
Yeah.
So you're basically limited to UI automation there.
Yeah, UI automation is, and that only works, like, it depends on the CAPTCHA. If the CAPTCHA is the same thing, like...
You can find that
do
window
these
property,
things,
click
you can
it,
open up that Windows,
yep.
and Colby at one point wrote something based on the color. Like, he did a color search, and it was impressive. And I can't do anything like that. He did that. So if the CAPTCHA is the same, just you want to run it as deploy user interactive. They have to be logged on, and then you have to find the window and click through it. There's a module called UI automation. You have to go search for it. I think it's pretty much abandoned at this point, but it's still very effective.
Okay. This particular question, it might be worth a reach out to the software vendor.
Yeah, because
that's
like if it's the CAPTCHA, like click on the hydrants and it changes. There is no automation logic for that I can think of. That's the whole purpose of that is to avoid automation.
That's just when you hire an intern to just do CAPTCHAs. That's it.
It was like the video game that we put out for sysadmin. Go put the disk in.
You send it to every machine, so the CAPTCHA will pop up. He has to walk to each one.
5 hydrants. There we go.
I'm trying to platinum that game. I'm still working on it.
And we are down to...
You want to plug it?
We're gonna do a stream of me playing it one day.
Twitch stream. It'll be wildly popular.
Yeah.
I haven't put it on Twitch yet. It's still on itch.io.
Nice.
But yeah, it's
Well,
it's
I just have to
called,
play it and then stream it to Twitch while I play. But yeah.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
All right, 5 questions left. Hey, guys, actually, no, let me back up. This one's just for Jordan. Jordan, is there any way to get PDQ to deploy an INF driver package as opposed to an MSI or EXE installer? Sincerely, RJS Oderland 81.
So the INF, this is similar to the printer one, where actually I'll see if I can find that blog because
Josh knows the answer, but he's not allowed to say it.
Yeah, this is directly to you.
all right, well,
No pressure.
that is a shame. So I'm going to see if I can find I mean, this one is specifically for the printer INF files, but I do have something where I loaded that in.
Okay.
We'll see if we can find that one. I wrote it a while ago.
Our viewers are learning that they can target questions to specific
There we go.
to either Jordan or Josh.
They're adapting.
All right, so yeah, this one right here, this one uses the print UI UXE where we're grabbing, that one's for file share. We're going to look for the INF file version. IP port. It's been a while since I wrote this one, so I'm reading through with you guys.
Printers are always a fun thing with deploy. or PowerShell. I hate to be the broken record, but group policy, if you can, for printers is the way to go.
And this one's by Chris.
Oh yeah, here's got the driver INF. He's called it out at the top in a variable there.
So driver info, that one calls it up there. So I would take a look at our blog. That one has information how to use PowerShell. You could use PowerShell step to add the INF file. Otherwise, Josh is right. Group policy, I love it.
It's fantastic.
Right tool for the right job. Hey guys, we have Microsoft Teams on all machines, and many are showing out of date when using the auto download package. Updates fail because it's already installed. How does one get around that? Sincerely, Dougie Doug K.
So that's actually a known complaint out on the forums on that one. So what I've seen most people did, and this is very frustrating, I apologize, is they do an uninstall for the current teams, and then they do another setup.exe with that deployment tool to install the latest version.
Yeah, because you're running into like some per user installs. The actual, if you look on some of those machines, you'll see an installed application that's like the Microsoft Teams, like I think it's like bootloader.
Yeah.
That basically exists on the machine level, but every new user that logs in, it spawns them a per user instance of Teams.
Yeah, so on that one, you have to do the uninstall completely
Yep.
across everyone, install the latest version, which sucks. But the Office 365, I don't know what they're thinking. Their whole thing is making things simpler. Recently, they're making it more open source, and then with Office 365, they just went with a screw you guys.
You will have this. You will exist in my world how I have designed it.
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's no great answer, but you can get there. It just takes extra steps.
Yeah.
All right, 2 questions remaining. Guys, is there a way to initiate VMware VM snapshot before uninstall in or from the PDQ package? Thank you, EUSA or EUSA-C.
PowerCLI is one of the greatest modules I have ever dealt with. That is the VMware specific module.
Yep.
You can do everything. At the last job I had entire server spin-ups that were happening, or I had developers could fill out a quick questionnaire and it would spin up servers for them. All of that was done with Snapshot, everything included. PowerCLI is insanely powerful. It has to be able to run. So
that's the big caveat.
So
right
you
there.
want to install the module, and if you have the information to import that module, like on a file share that people can access, then your script is just going to have to go reach out to that file share, import the module, and then the commands will work, and then you can capture something.
Yeah, because keep in mind, when you target something with deploy, it's going to run on the target, which may or may not have PowerCLI. So you'd have to import it. You could then, while the script is executing on that target, use the like environment host name, if that matches your machine name, to pass to PowerCLI to take a snapshot first.
Yeah, so that's, I love PowerShell.
It's fantastic.
That module made my life so much easier. But yeah, it's either install PowerShell on every machine, wouldn't recommend, or make it accessible on a file share and then call it from there. As long as you can import that module, you can take a snapshot.
Yep.
All right, our final question of the day, dear Josh and Jordan. How to uninstall many different versions of the same application. Each of them have different registry entries. For example, 500 computer, 100 different versions. Thank you, Lucas C.
That one is going to be the...
We'll go right back to your script.
Again. Yeah, so
find it by name.
I will get this thrown up for everybody, put up on our GitHub
Thank you.
for everybody.
Thank you.
Here we go.
The vomitorium.
And basically you want to come in and give it the name here.
The vomitorium.
The name here, super app, or whatever it is. From that one, just leave publisher and version blank. And then with this, if you run that against every machine, it's just going to go to the registry and find that application. It doesn't care what the version is, whatever the uninstall string is. So if every version has the same, if it's MSI, you don't have to worry about it. If it's an EXE, they all should still have the same. If they're changing the silent uninstall parameters based on version, I
was just thinking that.
I
said,
would
hope not.
lose my mind. But it should be the same. So you just, if it's not, you want to specify whatever, we'll say very silent. In that one. And that should run that against every machine. Did I do /? Yes, I did. That's not going to work at all. Every machine, it should find the versions that's installed on that machine and run the uninstall string that is in the registry. So if they don't have the uninstall string in the registry or they're changing the silent parameters, it's just going to be a chore, and shame on that.
Well, you could just run the script over and over and over again and just change out the parameters, and maybe you run it 5 times.
Yeah, and so this one, I think that should work for pretty well to get all versions on every machine.
Nice.
All right, was that the last question?
That's it, gentlemen.
All right.
We made it.
Well, I apologize for not putting this on the GitHub beforehand, for placing the script where it should be. I think yesterday, Kelly even told me to, and I didn't. But I will get that as soon as possible, and in the description on the YouTube video, we'll have a link to that one so people that want to tinker with it can.
Okay.
All right, for PDQ, I'm Jordan.
I'm Josh.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Chris S. and JJ71, winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. Please don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're so close to 10,000 subscribers. We gotta get there. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you back here next time.